it's Kelly here with another Lawn Fawn video, and today we are introducing our new set, Happy 4th. This is such a fun set because it's great for 4th of July, but it's also great for other celebrations like New Year's or birthday or congratulations, and there's a lot of fun and cool things you can do with these fireworks stamps. So let's go ahead and check it out and then make a fun project with it. I just love the large firework in this set. It is so much fun. It looks great stamped in lots of bold colors and heat embossed. There's so much that you can do with it. Here is the smaller firework, which is perfect for helping create your fun fireworks scenes. And then this set has a ton of little accessories like stars and other little bursts to add around your fireworks and really help create the scene. This rocket is absolutely adorable. And then this set has some really great sentiments in it. Of course, the Happy 4th of July, which is great for 4th of July cards and 4th of July party decor. And then we have the really fun Let's Celebrate sentiment, which is what helps this set not just be for 4th of July, but also for New Year's or birthday or any type of celebration, which I just love. Of course, we have our separate exclamation point, so you can add it to the end of your sentiment or not, depending on your card. Now we're going to create a really fun project with this card, and I'm going to start off first with our set Say Cheese with the Polaroid stamp, which I just love because it's great for creating scenes in. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it out and then use the die to cut it out really easily. So right here I'm just creating the template with the die. I'm just going to put that through the die cutting machine and then use my template to create the little registration marks that are going to make it really easy for me to line up my die. Once I have it all lined up, I'm going to use some washi tape to hold it in place and then put it through my die cut machine again and get a really perfect, beautiful cut. I just love these lawn cuts. I love how great it looks. It's just perfectly cut out. Here I have a 2 3/4 inch square of some navy cardstock, and I'm going to use some Versamark ink, which is a really sticky ink that is perfect for heat embossing. And we're going to do some multicolor heat embossing, which is really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my large firework, make sure that it's on there really well so I have a lot of that sticky ink. And then what we're going to do is have a little scratch paper here and some blue embossing powder, and that's going to catch the embossing powder as it falls. So I'm just going to pour it on just portions of my stamped image. So I'm going to do some red after. So I'm just kind of selectively embossing it by just pouring it and then knocking it off just like that onto my paper. I'm just going to put my paper to the side because we're going to keep adding blue later on. So I'm going to have that there, and now I have one here, another piece of it's just computer paper, just scratch paper for my red embossing powder. So I'm just putting that over the rest of it that didn't have any blue on it, and you'll see how cool that looks. You get kind of like a cool, almost tie-dye effect, and it looks like one of those multicolored fireworks. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss it. I'm just holding it with some tweezers so that I don't melt my little board there. And just go ahead, you can see it melting and just how neat it looks. Everything is fully melted. I'm going to set it aside to dry and make sure that part's all dry before I stamp my next firework. And the reason I'm stamping them one by one is so that I can really do this kind of selective coloring with the two different colors without getting it on another firework. So it's kind of a slow process, but it ends up looking so cool. So it's totally worth it. I went ahead and continued the process stamping some of the smaller fireworks just to kind of add a little bit of a different look. And I made sure to stamp them off the edges too because I wanted it to look like a photo of fireworks. I wanted to make sure some were off the edges. I had some rogue extra heat embossing powder where I didn't want it on my little project here. And so I'm taking a dry paintbrush, just moving that heat powder out of the way and then flicking the back, and it all just comes off. And now I'm ready to continue heat embossing. My last step here is to add in some of these little tiny stars just to fill in that blank space, and I'm going to make these silver because I thought the silver would be a nice pop on that navy blue. Because all of my other fireworks have already been heat embossed, I can just put silver over the whole panel and get all of those little stars and melt them and get a really cool triple color look on one panel with heat embossing. I'm just testing it to see how it's going to look in the Polaroid, and I'm really liking this so far. So it's time now to stamp out the Happy 4th of July sentiment, which fits perfectly on that Polaroid. And then I'm going to take some antique linen distress ink and just age up the Polaroid a little bit to really give it that vintage look. I'm using some super sticky red line tape here to make sure that the Polaroid adheres really well to that slick heat embossed surface. I'm working with a 3.5 by 5 inch card base, which is one of my favorite card sizes, and I've cut some strips in red, white, and blue. They're 3.5 by 1/2 inch. And so what I'm doing is just adding some liquid glue and then butting up all of those little strips together, and I'm going to kind of make my own cool red, white, and blue striped paper, which I just love this look. It looks really cool. You'll see that it's a little messy on the sides, and so I'm just going to trim off both sides, and then you'll see now it looks really clean and really nice. I'm going to use our set Just My Type. It's got this cute little push pin in it, and I thought that would be a nice way to anchor the Polaroid onto this card. Just added some quick and simple color to it, and then quickly cut it out. Using an X-Acto knife just to cut a tiny little slit in the Polaroid so that the push pin can go through, so it really does look like it's tacked onto the card. And you'll see right there how it just goes through perfectly. To hold it in place, I'm just going to take some washi tape and just hold that little end there, and that'll work perfectly to hold it in place. Just added some foam adhesive, and that'll be the finishing touch to this card. I just love how it turned out, and it would be really great, especially to bring as part of a hostess gift for a 4th of July barbecue. I love the sparkle and shine from that heat embossing. Next, I thought it would be fun to create a super simple card using the fireworks in just more of a graphic way. They just look like cool bursts. So I'm just going to stamp a really simple card you'll see here with the large firework and a fun sentiment from our set, So Much to Say. So right here you'll see all I did was have just the 3 fireworks and the sentiment, and I think it looks really great, and I love that this is a really easy to reproduce card too. You could do it with a lot of different sentiments and different colors. I love the pop of color that this pink behind it adds. It's just a nice little frame. And I thought some glitter would be a nice touch to a super simple card. So I thought it would be kind of hard. I'm not great with the Stickles bottle. I always get like giant globs of it. So instead I did my giant glob on a scratch piece, and I'm just using a little paintbrush to add some little glitter dots to my fireworks. So it's a really fun and easy way to add some glitter, especially if you're a klutz like me and you always explode your Stickles bottles. Super sparkly and clean and simple. Really, really fun way to use them just a little bit differently. Here's another different way to use the fireworks, and that's to create a patterned paper with them. I've set up a little inking station here with all of my colors, and I'm going to go ahead and ink them up, stamp them around the outside edges, and then clean it off and start with a new color. I'm alternating the different sizes because that'll just kind of add to the pattern, and I love how it's kind of looking tropical. And then I went ahead continuing the same alternating colors and alternating sizes idea to fill in the whole pattern. So I'm just adding my final touch here, and I love how it's looking. It's really neat, and you can see once you put a panel over it how fun that looks. I thought the pink wasn't enough, so I decided to add the kind of a coordinating color to that teal turquoisey color, and then the pink on top, and now I have a card base ready to go for any project. So that is Happy 4th. This is such a fun set that's not only great for 4th of July, but also great for general type cards, New Year's, any kind of celebration, and the Let's Celebrate is perfect for that. And it's also cool because you can make some pretty neat graphic backgrounds like we did here too. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!